17 days. I want you to hold that number in your head. 17 days. That is the exact amount of time between the moment the internet told DJ Warras he was going to die and the moment a short man with dreadlocks walked up to him outside the Carlton Centre and made sure the prediction came true. If you are watching this and you want to understand how this country really works, how the underworld connects to the infrastructure, and why a man had to die for trying to fix a plumbing pipe, then you need to listen to every single word I am about to say. And before we go deep, do me a favor, hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, do it now, because we are not going to stop digging. Dlamini, please bring image number 5 to the screen, the big one. We have to start with the psychology of the victim. We have to understand what was in his mind 17 days before he died. On November 29th, DJ Warras was on Twitter. He saw a post from Briefly News. It was a report about Vusimuzi Cat Matlala. Now, anyone who follows South African news knows that name. The report described Matlala's unsettling stillness while being questioned by authorities. It was a heavy story, a dangerous story, and Warras, being the person he was, decided to quote it. He added his own commentary, he gave Matlala a label, he spoke his mind. But I want you to look away from what Warras wrote. I want you to look at how the public responded. This is where the investigation truly begins. Dlamini, zoom in on the reply from Senzo Nwaka. R.I.P. in advance Mawara Wara. Read that again. In advance. In the English language, those two words change everything. He isn't wishing death on him. He is scheduling it. He is telling him that the clock has started. This is a verified user, a real person, looking at what Warras said and telling him, you have crossed a line that you cannot come back from. Now, move your eyes down. Look at the comment from the user called Castle Larger. Send me your ID number, bro. I need to open a policy fast. I want you to really think about that sentence. In South Africa, we have a very specific culture around death and insurance. We know that hitmen are cheap. We know that life is cheap. When a stranger on the internet asks for your ID number to open a life insurance policy, they aren't making a joke. They are telling you that you are a walking corpse. They are telling you that you are worth more dead than alive. This is a threat disguised as banter. It is the community telling him, we know what happens to people who speak about these things. And this is the moment where Warras realized it. Dlamini, highlight Warras's response. He writes, you niggas are trying to get me killed, nah? So it's like that? I thought we were homies. Listen to the voice behind those words. He isn't laughing anymore. He isn't trying to be cool. He is asking a genuine question. You are trying to get me killed? He realized in that moment that the people following him weren't his friends. They were spectators at a coliseum waiting for the lion to eat the gladiator. He even replied to another user, Sanele, saying, I am coming to hide at your house. Why would he say that? Because deep down, his instinct was screaming at him. His survival mechanism was kicking in. He knew he was in danger. We need to shift our focus now. We need to leave the internet and go into the real world. Because in South Africa, people don't usually die over tweets. They die over rands and cents. And Warras was messing with millions of rands. Dlamini, clear the screen. I want you to play the audio files. I want you to listen to this man's voice. This isn't a DJ talking about the latest house track. This is a businessman talking about a war zone. He is talking about the building he was managing. He calls it Zambesi.
Something I'm passionate about is taking back Johannesburg CBD. I think that allowing.
Are you going to get behind Gogo Helen?
I don't know if Gogo Helen is the horse that I would back.
Is there another horse?
I would, honestly speaking, the only horse that has proven to me he can and will do what it takes in that city is Herman Mashaba. He had a run. When he started doing what was going to make the impact, they said he's xenophobic. And at the time, we were hurt by words. That shit is over. Now people, well, I don't give a what you think you can say. I'm racist, sexist, misogynist. Call me whatever. I couldn't give a damn. Because I'm about how are we getting the
Things
work
fixed.
done,
Things
things fixed. And when Herman Mashaba came in and he was like, we need to do something about the amount of illegal foreigners that are invading our cities and the degradation in the city. And these NGOs are working against us
I
because
agree.
their sustenance, in order to sustain their business model, they need the place to be a shithole. That's how they raise money.
Isn't that terrible?
It is
that
absolutely
incentive?
shocking.
And they get money from Open Society and
That's
all
it.
those
Remember when
crazy.
Trump cut USAID?
Yeah.
And everybody got angry.
Yeah.
Even though he cut it equally to
just
everyone.
went boom.
That's it. They were like, oh, he hates South Africa. He's cutting our aid. I'm like, he cut $40 million in funding for condoms in Mozambique. Bet you Trump hasn't even given Mozambique a second thought, but he's not sending $40 million worth
Correct.
of condoms. It's more condoms than there are men in Mozambique. What the
What's going
Because
on?
USAID was a massive slush fund.
Yeah, complete
Monies
scam.
were being sent
Complete
all over
scam.
the world. That's it. And we have a similar thing in the CBD. You will try to do something in a building where you're like, okay, these people are not paying rent. The building is wasting away here because maintenance needs to be done. If we are to get in, do the maintenance and fix the building, these people need to get out. If I give that example, I'll have 10 lawyers there within an hour telling me they can't move these people unless I can provide alternate accommodation. Boss, everyone comes from somewhere. Go back there. There's so many people in a lot of these buildings that are genuine, hard-working people who just want a safe place to stay. They want to get to work and back. They want to raise their children, put them in school, build something for themselves back home where they come from. These are the people you meet. And they are like 85, 90% of the people. But there's that 10% that don't want progress to happen.
Occupancy far exceeded. You've got 240, 250 rooms. You shouldn't have more than about 1,000 people, give or take. That's maximum. You've got well over 1,000 people living in this building because
Pause right there. Let's do the forensic accounting on this. This is the part of the story that explains the bullets. You have a building. It is supposed to have maybe 300 people in it. Instead, it has 1,000 people. Now, who put them there? The building syndicates, the hijackers. These are criminal organizations that take over a property, put a gun to the security guard's head, and then start collecting rent. Let's be conservative. Let's say they charge 3,500 Rand per person, or maybe per room divided by people. If you have a revenue stream of 3 to 4 million Rand coming out of that building every single month in cash, that is 40 to 50 million Rand a year from one building. Now imagine you are the kingpin of this syndicate. You have 50 million Rand a year flowing into your pocket. And then a man named Warwick Stock shows up. He buys the building, or he manages it. And he says, I am going to stop this. He says in the podcast that he is installing biometrics. Do you understand what biometrics means to a criminal? It is the end of the world. Biometrics means fingerprints. It means facial recognition. It means a digital database of every single person who walks through that door. If you are a drug dealer using Unit 405 as a stash house, biometrics exposes you. If you are a human trafficker keeping girls in Unit 602, biometrics exposes you. If you are a ghost tenant paying illegal rent to a gangster, biometrics exposes you. Dlamini, play the section about the plumbing. This is the smoking gun. This is the part that connects the street-level crime to the state-level corruption.
when a contract is given for City of Joburg to fix the shit pipes, who does it go to? Sbanbani Plumbing. Connected to this fucking ex-hitman. How? Me, utsoishintsha kanjani? Boom. I'm like, Uncle Wes, the plumbing, I see the sink is leaking. He's like, sink is leaking? Nigga, this is happening and this is happening. You've got a much bigger crisis than that. Call this guy.
Sure.
Call in a plumber. What race is the plumber? White, Afrikaans. My friend, let me tell you something. If I can show you what it looked like compared to what these guys put together, you'll understand why. Umsebenzi wakhe. You understand? The plumber comes in, he looks at the thing, he says, no, this doesn't work because when your occupancy goes up, the number of people that are shitting goes up. If a building is designed for 600 people to be shitting, ingalunga. If 1,800 people start shitting into the same toilets and the same pipes, you're going to have a problem.
That's traffic, Baba.
Nasok. Multiply that by not only this building, the building next door, this one on this block, this one on this block, all of a similar size. What's going to happen underground, under the road with the sewage system? Disaster. Now, you're able to run as the city of Joburg runs, ignoring these things. Because there's people living there and they're living perfectly fine. They're happy with how they're living. You understand? Abanang king. They pay their rent for the most part.
Yeah.
Right? But I know, ngokubona kwami, this is not right. But I don't have the expertise to fix all the problems.
Yeah.
I'm here for one thing. I bring in that expertise from outside. I bring the most skilled people that I know. And within 2-3 months of us being on that building site, come and see what that building looks like now. Come and see the progress that we've made. Not me alone, as a team. Why can we not apply the same principle when it comes to the policies that we should be implementing to empower people? We need to get the most skilled into the positions where they are desperately needed. Case in point, the CBD. That issue that I just described, Uguti, what's causing this, that in the building is not only this way.
I want everyone to hear those exact words. Connected to this foofing ex-hitman. This is the most dangerous sentence he ever spoke. He didn't say corrupt businessman. He didn't say shady guys. He used the word hitman. He is alleging on a public platform that the companies receiving tenders to fix the sewage in Johannesburg are fronts for contract killers. He is saying that the infrastructure money, 300 million rand, he mentions later, is being stolen by murderers. Think about the enemies list Warras created for himself. First, he has the street syndicates who are losing their rental income because he is taking back the building. Second, he has the corrupt NGOs that he mentioned, who he claims need the city to be a shithole so they can get funding from overseas. And third, he has the tenderpreneurs, the guys connected to ex-hitmen who are stealing the maintenance budget. He was fighting a war on 3 different fronts, and he was doing it alone. He talks about bringing in his own people. He mentions Arnie Williams for audits. He mentions Wes Lang for electrical work. He was bypassing the system. He was bringing in white contractors to fix black infrastructure because he didn't trust the government. He was creating a parallel state. He was showing that the job could be done, which embarrassed the people who were paid to do it, but didn't. Now, let's move to the day of the assassination, December 16th, Reconciliation Day, a public holiday. Dlamini, bring up the report from Criselda Lewis.
Sakina, and in fact, that's what we reported about on arrival at the scene yesterday, was that that particular area is completely surrounded by CCTV cameras. Remember, there was an extensive operation to install CCTV cameras in the Johannesburg CBD to precisely deal with the issue of crime. So it's by no surprise that's the first area that the police were going to look into. And indeed, they did indicate that they are looking for a number of suspects, one believed to have dreadlocks and short. We are expecting possibly some identikits to be released. We're not quite sure of that at this stage.
MMC Chako did say
that's
that.
right. I did make a call to police this morning and they did indicate they'll be in conversation with the investigating officer. And if they do have those details, I mean, the faster you put those images out, perhaps there is someone who will be able to point police in the right direction.
And the family, you spoke yesterday to DJ Warras' sister, Nicole. And, you know, obviously a very somber moment for them having to keep it together. And I must say it was really, really moving when you saw the pathology van taking the remains away and the family having to clean up, you know, the blood stains on the pavement there. But what are they saying at the moment, Chris?
Well, Sakina, if we could ask our team to please bring up the latest statement from the family. In fact, just a few moments before we went to air, the family releasing this latest statement indicating that it's with heartbreak and deep sorrow, you know, an overwhelming shock that, of course, they were announcing the untimely passing of DJ Warras. The family speaks about what an incredible human being he is, how he leaves behind 3 young children, his mother and his siblings, who are completely devastated at this time over what has taken place. They're also asking for privacy during this time. They indicate that they've not appointed a spokesperson. They're not in a position to appoint a spokesperson. So the family is just asking to be kept in their thoughts and prayers at this stage. They've also, you know, welcomed the outpouring of love and support. I mean, since news broke of DJ Warras' gunning down in the Johannesburg CBD, you know, there was so much outpouring of love. And also, Sakina, it highlights once again, the big question that needs to be asked is, with the building, and MMC Chwako was quite correct. We reported about this yesterday, that DJ Warras was indeed, called in to assist with that hijacked building. There are a number of individuals, I understand, who are not paying rental in that building. The owner wants to reclaim the building. So DJ Warras was brought in for those particular purposes. And I understand from some of our very close sources, this included some security measures that he was going to install, including biometrics. So if you don't pay your rent, we can lock you out, right? We have a consistent issue relating to hijacked buildings in the Johannesburg CBD, very well documented. So there's a huge belief at this stage that this indeed was a hit relating to, it's a huge business, Sakina. I understand that the so-called kingpins who run these operations could easily charge about 3,500 to give you a place to stay, which is not yours, and instead of paying rent, indeed, and then you just pay the money over to them, which completely doesn't make sense. Why not just pay the rent? So that is the consistent issue that they're dealing with in the Johannesburg CBD, and you could feel a sense of fear. It was very difficult to speak to anyone who was in that area yesterday, because a fear of they might possibly be attacked for saying anything about a huge issue in the Johannesburg CBD. Why is it so difficult to reclaim these hijacked buildings? There are huge syndicates, we understand, that are operating, or, it's a huge business relating to hijacked buildings in the Johannesburg CBD. So that latest statement released by the family at this stage, what we do know is that police are following possible leads relating to the suspects in this particular matter. And we'll wait to see if those identikits will be released by police in the next couple of hours.
Griselda, Dr. Chwako also speaks about DJ Warras being there alone, which was a bit unusual, because generally when he would go to that building, he would have a trusted confidant, a person with him who was always by his side, who was not there yesterday. Were you able to pick up anything more on that side of the story?
Look, Sakina, from what we know is that, and also listening to what Dr. Chwako spoke about yesterday, he had mentioned that DJ Warras was in the company of the owner of that block of flats. So I don't know if that's changed at the moment. We're still waiting for a whole lot more information. Of course, police are not going to disclose too much, because it could put that next person at risk as well. So we'll wait to hear what the latest is from police pertaining to that. But from my close sources, I understand that he had come from downstairs. There had been, and I saw Dr. Chwako had also mentioned it today, relating to the the biometrics to ensure that the building is reclaimed. That was part of the process. And when he had gone downstairs, he had gone towards the corner of the street. And that's, I think, where the first shots had rung out. And he ran towards the entrance of the building once again. But unfortunately, he did not make it. That's the sense that we're getting at the moment. Of course,
this is the part that connects the street-level crime to the state-level corruption. Griselda Lewis is one of the best reporters in the country. She was on the scene while the tape was still up. And she pointed out a detail that makes this whole thing reek of a setup. She said the area outside the Carlton Centre and Zambezi House is, and I quote, completely surrounded by CCTV cameras. The city of Joburg spent millions installing these cameras to fight crime. Warras mocked these projects. He said in the podcast that technology means nothing without boots on the ground. And isn't it the ultimate irony? He was gunned down in high definition. He was killed right in front of the lens. The technology watched him die, but it didn't lift a finger to save him. The police report says a short man with dreadlocks approached him. Let's profile this hit. This wasn't a robbery. South Africa has a high crime rate, yes. But usually, if you get held up in the CBD, they want something. They want your car. Warras was driving a nice car. They want your phone. Warras had a high-end smartphone in his pocket. The same phone he used to tweet those jokes about hiding. They want your wallet. But the short man with dreadlocks didn't take the car. He didn't take the phone. He didn't take the wallet. He took Warras's life. That was the only commodity he was interested in. He walked up, He fired 4 times into the chest and once into the chin, and then he fled on foot. Fleeing on foot in the CBD is a professional move. If you get in a car, you get stuck in traffic. You get caught on license plate readers. But if you run into a crowd of 10,000 people, you disappear. You become a ghost. But there is a detail in the Criselda Lewis file that keeps me awake at night. She spoke to a Dr. Chaco on the scene, and they mentioned that usually, when Warras went to Zambezi House, he had a trusted confidant with him, a bodyguard, a partner, a shadow. But on December 16th, the day the short man with dreadlocks was waiting, Warras was alone. Why? Why was he alone on a public holiday? Who told him to come to the building? Who knew his schedule? Who knew that his protector wouldn't be there? This implies intelligence. This implies surveillance. This implies that someone on the inside knew exactly where he would be and when he would be vulnerable. And this brings us back to those tweets. Dlamini, put the comments back on the screen. When Senzo wrote RIP in advance and Castle Larger asked for the ID number, maybe they weren't threatening him. Maybe they were leaking information. In the townships, news travels fast. Before a hit happens, there is a whisper. The word goes out on the street. Don't stand next to Warras. Don't be seen with him. Maybe these Twitter users heard the whisper. Maybe they were trying to tell him, in the only way they knew how, that the contract was already signed. And Warras, because he was a celebrity, because he was used to haters, he misread the signal. He thought they were trolling him. He didn't realize they were warning him. He joked about hiding. But 17 days later, when he stepped out of his car at Zambezi House, there was nowhere to hide. The most heartbreaking part of this entire story is the end. But we need you to stay with us. Don't let this story die. Don't let them sweep Warras under the rug like they swept his blood off the street. I want to know what you think. Do you believe it was an inside job? Do you think the Twitter comments were a warning from the streets? Let me know in the comments below. And Dlamini, cut the feed.